What's happening this week in Warcraft? Hey, it's Soul, and you can help support the channel by liking this video, subscribing for more WoW coverage, and catch me when I'm live. WoW's 21st anniversary event has begun, and it starts over at the Caverns of Time, where the whole circus of things to do is back up and running. One of your first stops might be to Treya over here, who sells a new ensemble. It's nothing too crazy, but it's also extremely affordable for gamers at any level to pick up if they want to change their look. But she also still sells the tier 2 ensembles we saw from last year in case you missed out on them. Nearby, there's also an additional title to pick up, the Kaz Algar Enthusiast. Another reason to frequent this spot is to pick up an extra bonus 10% to experience and reputation for participating in activities in the area. This is on top of what we'll inherently get throughout the entire event. Otherwise, while there aren't a lot of new things to pick up, there's still plenty to do for players new to this event or if they missed out on a few things. Despite what the WoW news article says at the moment, nearly everything can be bought with time-warped badges, with PvP vendors who also ask for marks of honor, and, well, at least at the moment, bronze tokens are nowhere to be seen. You can still zip around to take on world bosses, even at a low level, and at least queue up for the Raid Finder version of the Blackrock Depths raid. Since this time the event won't go on for an entire patch cycle, I guess there's no point having a normal and heroic version of this raid. There's no need to worry about grinding this for, I guess, some extra leveling and time warp badges, I think. One curious thing to point out, the 11.2.7 patch will drop during the last week of this event. There's a low but a non-zero chance of maybe an extra housing-related goodie that could be included in the anniversary. Phase 4 of the Legion Remix begins this week, meaning you folks who've been waiting this entire time can finally start playing the game. The entire expansion will have now opened up and we're on our way to Argus, which includes the Seat of the Triumvirate Dungeon and Antorus the Burning Throne raid. But how do we access it? We never got to test this out, so we can only speculate, and here's what I'm guessing. I'm thinking Argus will be accessible without having to play through the entire Legion campaign, probably not even at max level, and we'll be able to blast through all the subzones like a hot knife. And I won't be surprised if we can use the Dungeon Finder to access the new dungeon and Raid Finder to get to the raid day 1. But I'm thinking we'll have to do some questing if we want to do higher level versions of the dungeon and raid. Maybe I'm wrong, but better to mentally prepare yourself for the speed bump in case we run into it. There are important achievements we can finally knock out. For simplicity's sake though, I'm just going to tell you, knock out the mythic version of the dungeon and raid. It'll score you a shield appearance, a fell version of the Arcus Scythe, and the light version of the Commander's Transmog if you've completed all the other raids on mythic difficulty. You'll also want to visit the vendors, as they have unlocked pretty much everything else that wasn't already available. Some of these are exclusive to the Legion Remix and can't be found anywhere else. Very important, you also want to drop by the Mythic vendor, and if you have the drops from Agromar and Argus, you may be able to buy the 2 arsenals they sell too. Phase 3 was when it was already possible to max out on infinite knowledge. Just in case though, there are other sources of knowledge that might be easier to get during this phase. You get a point for completing the Argus campaign, clearing the dungeon on heroic, completing all the dungeons in each difficulty, which you can now do, and then there's clearing the raid, and pretty much all the invasion points on Argus. Finally, if you want to unlock some housing decor in advance of the final phase, max out reputation with the Argusian Reach, and complete all the Legion raids, which you can now do now that Antorus is open. The beta marches into its second week when raid testing is expected to begin. Here's the schedule up on screen in case you're interested in putting your class to the test. Just you, no add-ons, and like 4 buttons. Good luck. We also want to be on the lookout for other additions in this build, notably the changes to transmogrification, which as a feature has already been ripped out in the first beta build, and we're waiting for the new changes to be added in. And let's blast through the rest of this week. This coming Sunday, Pilgrim's Bounty begins. This holiday tends to not get a lot of updates, but let's cross our fingers for some new additions. It's a catalyst week for transmog unlocks. Arena Skirmishes is the PvP thing for this week, Temple of Hot Mogu is the brawl, and over in Mythic Plus World it's a tyrannical fortified week, and the Xal'atath affix is scheduled to be Devour, Cleanse or be cleansed. Since we're in this period of wrapping up the War Within expansion, I want to highlight the upcoming meta achievement that isn't scheduled to release until the 12.0 pre-patch. There's always a chance the requirements could change, but I want to go over the what to do. You can take a more detailed look at this using a very useful add-on. It's called Camel's Expansion Achievement Filter for Crowley's Achievement Filter. It's kind of a lot, but a link to it is in the video description. This add-on installs a few enhancements to your achievement UI, but I want to focus on the special filter that highlights the upcoming meta. So with the add-on installed and the achievement window open, you want to click on the Specials tab on the bottom right here. And then on the left-hand side, open Camel's meta achievements and then select World Soul Searching, that's the name of the meta. All the relevant achievements are now displayed with the sub-meta achievements in a lower branch for you to also explore. Without a doubt, the 11.0 You Shall Not Pass achievement is the meatiest one of them all. If you've already completed that, you're well on your way to completion. Good luck. This week ought to be interesting as we see Blizzard put its money where its mouth is with the combat. Meanwhile, I'll be looking into profession coverage if there are any updates, as well as some housing tips to help folks get ready for early access. Please like this video, subscribe for more WoW coverage, catch me live, and I'll catch you later. Stay safe, stay healthy, and stay breezy.